Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you. You know, on September 20th, 1975, I first met Don and Louise Hines. I've been very happy to call them my parents for the past 40 years. Recently, they've achieved a major marital milestone, and I'd like to talk with you a little bit about how they got there. I've got a few stories to share, and I hope that they will serve as examples so that one day, maybe we may make it 50 years with our own spouses. Now, how long is 50 years? To all of us, it's half of a century. To some of us, it's 2/3 of a human life. Many of us never even get to live 50 years. According to U.S. Census data, only 35% of marriages make it 25 years. And only 6% of marriages make it 50 years. Let me repeat that. Out of every 100 marriages, only 6 will go for 50 years. The young people tend to get married, they have families, they make a difference, either good or bad, and then oftentimes they fade into obscurity. Their work is done without any real accomplishment or purpose. They may have a really cool job, a neat car, or a fast boat, but they never get to obtain that fulfillment and joy that comes from living life as it was meant to be. So how do we stay committed to our spouses? How do we stay relevant? How do we stay useful? And how do we continue to make a difference? Well, Don and Louise can show us what it takes. It takes a young man and young woman who are determined to make themselves better individuals and then a better couple. They work hard to make solid foundational decisions early on. And then they can weather the storms that find all of us throughout life. It takes a husband and wife who prepare for and then welcome in their children with love and comfort. They raise their children as a team with a team plan. And then they recognize their own strengths and weaknesses so that they can capitalize on them. Because nobody is perfect, even Don and Louise. By sacrificing nights, weekends, sleep, and health, my father brought home a steady paycheck. He worked very hard, and there were many times we didn't see him for days on end. And then my mother stretched every dollar of that paycheck as far as she could. When the time was right, they both went back to school, finished college. They finished old dreams, and they started new dreams. They opened up new opportunity for themselves and for others. And they led by example. And it's impossible to live a life like that and not have it noticed by others, especially your own children. As humans, God created us to serve each other. That's why it feels so good to serve. And in marriage, we serve each other. And they've done that very well. I've learned in my own marriage that it grows best if I serve my wife and my wife is serving me. And there's no limit to it as long as we're doing that. You can never reach the pinnacle. It is infinite. That's the way love is. And Don and Louise have learned that very, very well. I remember as a child, one of my most secure moments was when I beat my brother and my sister out of the coveted spot right between them at church. And while I was busy not paying attention to what the pastor was saying, I remember I pulled their arms in front of me. I was just a toddler, so it was easy to hide behind there. And I remember feeling very safe and secure. And I could only feel that way because I knew my parents were very safe and secure with each other. That's a feeling many people will never have, but I was fortunate enough to experience. I remember many other times when my brother and my sister and I would catch them kissing in the kitchen. Disgusting, gross, nasty. We said all kinds of things about it, but deep down inside, we were very happy. I was very happy that my parents were taking care of each other so that they could take better care of us. And I remember another time, I was about 7 years old, I found a book on the end table. It was a self-help book. I don't remember the title of it. I picked it up, and I remember being aware that my mom and dad were both reading it. As I thumbed through it, it had no pictures. And I thought to myself, Dad must really love Mom if he's going to read a book that doesn't have any pictures. I remember feeling very good about myself and very good about them because they loved each other to keep moving their marriage forward. Made me feel very safe and loved. You know, it's the constant commitment to growth that keeps them going. And as a 40-something-year-old adult, I look back on my short experience I had living in their home, and now I look from afar, from 180 miles away, and I've watched, and they continue to move it forward. Perpetual change and growth, constantly moving forward, despite the fact that they're already in a good place. They get it. They understand it. They choose it. Don and Louise have set goals. They share with each other. They serve others. And they're still doing it today. Don and Louise, you've made a difference. You've made a difference in my life, and you've made a difference in everyone else that's here. We love you, and we thank you very much. To Don and Louise.